Hello everyone. So today's book entry is the seminal work by Jerry Bridges, 2012 version, The Transforming Power of the Gospel. I do not know if there's later versions, neither do I know if it's available on audiobooks, but it does seem to be part of his seminal works, and I'll explain that in the next video. But this book is about 172 pages of pure reading, 9 pages for the preface and chapter 1. Took me about 25 minutes of reading with 2 disturbances from my wife and 1 from the kids. The font size is 0.2, so it's quite readable at a distance. You don't have to strain your eyes, and the page color is white. But basically, it's divided into 14 chapters, right? So you have 14 chapters to go through, and at the end of each chapters are questions for discussion. For this one, I will start with who this book is for. I believe this book is for Christians, right? It's written for Christians in the format almost of a sermon, right? Or a collection of sermon, or at least Christian lectures or something, right? That's not the structure of it, but that's how it comes across, in that it's interrogating a very specific Christian dogma, right? And so I think it's mainly for Christians, in that even the end of the chapter, you have questions for discussion. So it's meant for a group setting as well. And so if you're a Christian who is not in the kind of church that would have groups like men's groups or women's groups or youth groups or something, then you definitely need to find someone to have a discussion about the contents of this book with, even if they're not familiar with it, just to get their thoughts, because it does seem to be a collection of knowledge obtained over a long period of time, right? And so these are the conclusions or the findings of that kind of experiential life investigation or lesson, right? And so it reads like a sermon, and so which is why it took me such a long time. It's a slow read in that it causes you to reflect from the get-go over a long period of time. And there's a lot of scriptural references. That's why I'm saying it's for Christians mainly. There's a lot of scriptural references in that it preaches to you, right? Because it's starting from the basis of the Bible going forward. I think it's also written for people who are church adjacent. In other words, who are familiar with Christianity, who grew up in the church, who are familiar with these things, but then it disseminates, but who's asking the questions, or who has an attitude towards what they've seen. Because you're not going to see perfection in the churches. But the point is, it's written for those people as well. I think the other person is, I don't think it's written for people who are questioning, in that we're very, very specific from the get-go, and the title is not hiding itself at all. You won't get any surprises there, right? But basically the topic at hand and what it begins to deal with then is the question of, in fact, is the topic of the intellect, the affections, and the will, right, of a Christian, right? Is our attitude as Christians, or should our attitude as Christians be to just read the Bible and do what it says? Can you do that? Can you do that perfectly? Right? And also, what do you do with guilt? And how do you live triumphantly as a Christian life?